We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
This would be the time, because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Hey folks, hey there folks, how you doing? Just watching all the metering and everything on my computer here for all the sounds, trying to get some, trying to get it level, trying to help help you hear what I'm trying to tell you. This is American Liberty Radio Network. This is the 5th of June 2017. How are you? Are you good? Are you happening? Are you? Yeah. I don't know. Just lots of things going on. It's Monday. It's, lots of things going on. We have a shooting happened in Orlando, Florida. It's amazing to me that certain things happen around the world, certain political things happen around the world, but then all of a sudden there's distractions. Okay? There's distractions all around the world as well that pull our eyes off of the real things that are going on, the factual things that are going on, not the hidden behind the scenes stuff, and basically what it is, and it's real simple. Basically what it is the elites, the media manufacturers, they want us to keep our eyes off of what is actually going on, so they're going to distract us with certain things. I just saw some headlines earlier about, Prince Harry getting married. I saw some other things as well, and I'm like, really? Seriously? Do we really need to know about this? You know what I mean? No. For instance, Paul Joseph Watson writes for Infowars.com why CNN's denial that they staged a Muslim anti-terror protest is BS. Network caught in shameful fake news hoax. CNN was forced to deny charges that they helped stage a Muslim anti-terror protest in London, but their excuse doesn't stand up to scrutiny. I'm going to let you guys, there's videos involved there, so I'm going to let you guys see that. American Liberty Radio podcast. Go check that out as well. Soon as the page comes up here. But anyway, I want to direct your attention to the I don't know how I want to put this. So I will say this. I want to direct your attention to the White House, to the presidency of the United States of America. Throughout history, we have had a leader, a person in the suit in the Oval Office. Now, this happened and began to happen in 1871 with the implementation of the Act of 1871, which was signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant, who was reluctant to even run for president after the Civil War because he didn't want the job. But because he was such a hero at that time, that people were going, well, you know, Mr. Grant, it would be better if you, being the face of victory, would run and become president of the United States. You see, even back then, prior to 1871, people were manipulating each other to get what they wanted anyway. So it's not just the manufacture, the creation of the United States of America Incorporated. It was prior to that the manipulation was running rampant through the nation's capital. And it really, it really put a lot of people into a very uneasy position. Because when you look at the cabinet of President Ulysses S. Grant, I mean, we have a lot that, well, we have a lot that we can look at and say, okay, here was the problem. But then years later, we can look at something else and go, no, this was the problem. And we look at some. You see, the presidency of the United States is symbolic. It has no real power in its machinations. It has no real power behind it except for what Congress gives it. And Congress doesn't really have all that much power until they talk with, the Senate and the House, both together become Congress, until they speak with one another and come up with some agreements as to what needs to be done. So my question to you, as far as the presidency of the United States of America is concerned, the office of the presidency, why is it we, as citizens of the United States of America, vote for people in the House of Representatives to then vote for the president? This is a very good question. This is a very good question due to the fact that I believe that a more direct vote for positions is needed. Not vote for this group of people over here or compile a group of people over here, then vote for delegates over here so that they can approve and vote for the President of the United States or the Vice President, either way. So, why do we not have a more direct access to the office of the presidency in regards to our votes and putting who we want in that office? This is a good question. And this leads me back to the distractions of the people of the United States of America. Because we are front-loaded with information in ways that the controllers, the media manufacturers, want us to see, and they tell us what we should do, where, why, when, how we should talk, how we should dress, how we should not offend other people. Do you see it yet? We have a situation in this country where the President of the United States of America has absolutely zero power and zero contributions to the United States of America. And he's nothing but a symbolic figurehead. And Congress is the one, both House of Representatives and Senate, have the ability to do what they do. And they, I'm going to say it, twist the arm of the president to get their way. To get their way. Hence, distracting people from the real issues through the manufacturing of media through the creation of media manipulation, or in more technical terms, neuro-linguistic programming. And so they create this straw man. The media, the controllers, the elites, you name it. They create this straw man that they put into the suit in the Oval Office. I don't care who it is. And they manipulate that person, Congress does, manipulates that person, and then goes to the media who they're in bed with, and they manufacture stories, they do this, they do that, they put things, and it all comes out in the mainstream propaganda media in the way that they want the president to be seen. And they want the people to have a certain view. I didn't say allow the people to have a certain view. I said the media makes the people have a certain view and therefore distracts us from the real issues. Okay? Let me go here again and I will tell you the headline. Why CNN's denial that they staged a Muslim anti-terror protest is BS. Network caught in shameful fake news hoax. Came out today. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 5th of June, 2017. A video that emerged last night shows CNN reporter Becky Anderson organizing and directing a group of Muslims holding anti-terror signs the day after Islamic terrorists killed 7 and injured nearly 50 in London. Anderson ensures that the demonstrators are positioned perfectly before recording her piece to the camera, during which she describes the scene as wonderful. The same group was also filmed at multiple other locations, suggesting further coordination with media outlets. After the network was bombarded with claims that they helped stage the protest, CNN was forced to respond, quote, "This is nonsense. Police let demonstrators through the cordon to show their signs. CNN, along with other media, simply filmed them doing so," unquote. CNN International said in a statement, quote, "Police allowed demonstrators through cordon, quote, so they could show their signs," unquote. To media, CNN PR says CNN, BBC, AP, quote, "simply filmed them doing so," unquote, claimed CNN Brian Stetler. This is why CNN's denial is complete BS. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. There's more to it. Check it out. Read it, if you would, please. Thank you very much. The media, in all of its intellectual prowess, you can hear the sarcasm ooze from me when I say that. The mainstream propaganda media is nothing but a complete joke. The mainstream propaganda media is a complete joke because they cannot grasp the reality of what is going on. Oh, I'm sure there's members of the media that understand what is actually going on, but their bosses as well have said, no, here's what you're going to do. Here's the script. You read it off the teleprompter. This is what you're going to say. That's it. That's as plain as day, plain as the nose on your face. Now, the question that I have for all of you is, if you continue to believe the mainstream propaganda media, what does that tell me about you? What does that tell me about you? It doesn't tell me a whole lot until you begin to speak in a way that they have manufactured and ordered you or have created the neuro-linguistic programming to make you speak in the way that is supportive of mainstream propaganda media. In other words, let me make this very simple. The manufactured mainstream propaganda media is there to shove their hand up your backside to create puppets to repeat everything they want everyone else to know. This is from the broadcasters to the newscasters to all of those people, including people who seem to think that they're telling the truth. That would be you, the public. But as you can see from the CNN story, or from the InfoWars story about CNN, they manufacture the news. They manufacture the news. And here's something else. Not only do CNN and MSNBC and Fox and all of those manufacture the news and keep you distracted from what is going on, they completely ignore, they themselves, the manufactured mainstream propaganda media, simply ignore everything. The truth, the facts, you name it. Add a few more words on that list. They ignore it. Why mainstream media ignores Bilderberg? Owen Schroyer, Infowars.com, 5th of June, 2017. Thank you, Owen. The secretive meeting has been brought to the public's attention thanks to alternative media. The establishment media outlets have ignored Bilderberg completely for years, but now that outlets like Infowars have pushed the meeting into the public spotlight, they have no choice. There's videos there of David Knight and Owen Schroyer. This is going on American Liberty Radio podcast. Bilderberg group meeting was held at the Westfields Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia this past weekend. If anybody was there, please send me some information. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I don't understand why people ignore the obvious, such as Ramadan, Australia, gunman takes hostages, tells TV stations this is for ISIS, man known to counter terrorism police engages in terrorism. If they knew it, why didn't they pick him up? MSNBC anchor wonders if Trump trying to provoke a terror attack to prove a point. Roberts floated the theory during 2 separate interviews. That's MSNBC, folks. Oh, by the way, London Bridge ringleader appeared on UK state TV praying to ISIS flag. Jihadist killer well known to British media and authorities. Let me go back to the MSNBC anchor. This pretty much solidifies, or in part solidifies, what I've been talking about. MSNBC anchor Thomas Roberts theorized on Sunday that President Trump is trying to provoke a terrorist attack on U.S. soil in order to, quote-unquote, prove himself right about Islamic terrorism. Roberts floated a theory during 2 separate interviews, one with Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed and another with former Vermont Governor Howard Dean. Roberts pointed to Trump's tweet early Sunday in the wake of the terrorist attack that left at least 7 dead in London. Trump wrote that, quote, "We must stop being politically correct and get down to business of security for our people," unquote. He also criticized London's Mayor Sadiq Khan, who said there was, quote, "no reason to be alarmed," unquote, following the attacks. Quote, "The president doesn't want us to be politically correct, right? So let's not be PC about this. Is the president trying to provoke a domestic terrorist attack with his Twitter rant because only to prove himself right?" Unquote. Roberts asked Reed during an interview. Reed dodged the question. But Roberts pushed his theory again in an interview several minutes later with Dean. Quote, I asked this of Mayor Reed, but it seems like the president is trying to provoke something that he can politicize more for his own gain in America. Do you feel the same way? There's a video there. It says read more, and then right below that it says video. So I want you guys to go check this out. Coming up on the bottom of the hour break, it's going to be, well, let's just say, after that, we'll get into some other things as well. I want people to gather their senses about them. And I would like people to take a look at what is seriously the problem of the United States of America. Maybe not the problem, but a problem. And the problem is the complete and utter indoctrination of Marxist-Leninist tyrannical ideologies within our governmental indoctrination institutes called public school. Now, a lot of people would say, well, can't blame them. Yeah, I can, and I will. When I was going to school, when I was a kid, I was listening, learning. When you're 8, 9, 10 years old, you really don't grab the essence of what they're saying, even though at about 10 or 11, I began to go, wait a minute, something's not quite right here. I was looking at other things as well, at that time, not just in school. So when I got into high school, and it started really in junior high, or what is called middle school now, started in junior high around when I was 7th, 8th grade, and I was just, began to see certain things happening. Began to see something not quite right. The balance was off a little bit. Did not know exactly what it was until Jimmy Carter became president, and then I began to really, really look at it. Because something about that, when your intuition kicks in and you get those, chill bumps on you, and you have a feeling that something's not quite right, chances are 100% of the time it's not right. So, I began to look into geopolitics, began to look into each society, how they were, structured, what they did, what their hierarchy were, and all this kind of thing. And I began to really look specifically at the United States of America in that degree and found what I found. And the problem was, as I got into high school, the teachers were teaching, basically, the academia was ordering the teachings of certain views, certain perspectives of history that no one should. And this is what I heard after I pretty much graduated high school. The academia tells the students what they should learn, not the reality of what actually is the history of the United States of America. Now, I began to question everything in Western civilization, in my class, Western civilization and also world history, and I began to question a lot of things, and I used to bring it up to the teacher and say, I found out this, but this book is saying this. What do we do? Basically, throughout my time doing that, the gist of the response was, read the book. Which really validated everything that I've known up until that point. Was the governmental indoctrination institutes, we call schools and universities, tell the students what they have to learn and not to question anything they do learn. And they slip through, and now it's just totally blatant nowadays, they slip through these ideologies of tyranny, of it's better to have a global, society working together and all of this. And they say this in these pleasantry type of, in pleasant words. And they put out this narrative of you should consider a more global view of things. And they begin to plant that idea. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. Go look that up. Neuro-linguistic programming. Go look that up. This is what they do. And it's not just the United States of America. It's everybody. It's every group around the world. And you can track that back, follow the money, connect the dots. You can track that back to people who want a new world order, the globalists, the elites, the Bilderberg group meetings that happened this past weekend in Chantilly, Virginia. It's going to happen at the G20 coming up. It's going to happen at the Davos meeting. It's going to happen all over the place because the narrative of the group of people wanting a new world order is you're going to do things our way. And it's not about individual freedom. It's not about a personal liberty. No. It's about a collective justice, collective group think, as Eric Blair, George Orwell talked about. It's this whole narrative of coming together and having a global kumbaya moment. It's not as simple as having individuals come together and say, how can we in a neighborhood help one another secure this neighborhood against, the criminals that are out there, the domestic gangs. It's not about coming together as individuals saying, hey, let's strengthen this neighborhood. Let's help the store owner down the street. Let's help this person. It's not about that. No. It's about corporate fascism. It's about negative political ideologies. It's about globalism in terms of basically the bottom line is slavery. To enslave a global people to do the bidding of the masters of the world. That's pretty much it. Now, I know I said some big $3 college words there, but let me gear this to those that understand and that want to understand. If we don't stand up to this global, if we don't stand up and take into consideration what the ramifications of a global society are on individual liberties, we are going to be screwed. You got it? We on the same page here? Good, because I'm going to move on. Check the time here. Oh, right after the break, I'll move on. Oh my God. I'll be back in 3.5 minutes. American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to our backup site at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. I'm going to be using that for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to work on the main site at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. So, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. And folks, I'll be back right after this. Broadcasting from FEMA Region 8. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
The people of the world are now seeing what the globalists have always intended. They are engaged in a campaign to rid the world of 90% of humanity. They are well on their way of achieving this. But, with the corrupt mainstream media aligning themselves with such diabolical philosophies, the globalists are now being exposed and the people are now seeing them for who they truly are. Thanks for the most part to the independent media revealing the connection of the mainstream media to globalists like George Soros and others who invest and spread disinformation.
Don't say you haven't been warned. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activity, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey folks, welcome back. How you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, 5th of June 2017. This is the American Liberty Radio Network podcast. Sometimes I do it live, sometimes I don't. I may have a live show tonight, I don't know. Keep your eyes open for news about that on the Facebook page, American Liberty Radio Podcast. I may have a live show tonight, don't know yet. So keep your eyes out. Okay, keep your eyes open. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Fake news. NBC issues correction after falsely claiming Putin, quote-unquote, does not deny having compromising information on Trump. Quote, this is just another load of nonsense, unquote. NBC was forced to issue a correction on Sunday evening after spinning its newest talent, Megyn Kelly's interview, to falsely claim that Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, does not deny having compromising information, unquote, on President Donald Trump. To promote the debut of Kelly's Sunday Night with Megyn Kelly program, NBC tweeted, quote, exclusive, Putin does not deny having compromising information on President Trump in an interview with Megyn Kelly. NBC's sister station did not send out fake news, linking to the same story after tweeting, quote, Russia's Putin denies having compromising information on Trump, unquote. Goes on down, tweets, all those tweets. And it says, Reuters also reported on the interview and tweeted, quote, Putin denies having compromising information on Trump, unquote. In the article, NBC News tweeted, Putin is quoted as saying, quote, this is just another load of nonsense, unquote, after Kelly asked whether he had, quote, something damaging on our president, unquote, in reference to the discredited BuzzFeed Trump dossier. Read more, so please, if you would, that's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. So if you want to read more, go right ahead. That's up to you. American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know how to put this, so I'm gonna just say it as it's in my head. People who cannot understand what the media, what the mainstream propaganda media is doing to them are dumber than a box of rocks. I'm just laying it out there. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's a hashtag going around. InfoWars is reporting, hashtag CNN is ISIS. Citizens stand up to terrorist media. Operation Expose Terrorist Media is successfully underway. The hashtag CNN is ISIS contest is well underway as citizens confront the mainstream media over its sick ISIS-style attacks against President Trump. Yeah. It's a contest InfoWars is putting on, and yeah. They don't have to put on a contest to get people to do this. What they need to do, what people themselves, the general public, need to do is to get out into the streets and expose these media masters for who they are, and to really expose them for the radical ideologies they truly have. I have no sympathy for anybody who is so stupid that they cannot figure out the very basic, simple manner by which the mainstream propaganda media is manipulating them. If you want to see why I say that, just go to YouTube, look up Mark Dice, the man on, he's like ask people on the streets, like man in the street thing. He asks people, just general, everyday people. And, just listen to the answers. BBC is reporting 6 Gulf countries cut ties with Qatar amid accusations of terror funding. Unprecedented developments come shortly after Trump visit to the Middle East. 6 Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia and Egypt, have cut diplomatic ties with Qatar, accusing it of destabilizing the region. They say Qatar backs militant groups, including so-called Islamic State, or IS, and Al-Qaeda, which Qatar denies. They say Qatar, the Saudi state news agency, SPA, said Riyadh had closed its borders, severing land, sea, and air contact with the tiny peninsula of oil-rich Qatar. The unprecedented move is seen as a major split between powerful Gulf countries who are also close U.S. allies. Huh. Interesting. It says read more, so I'm going to put that on the American Liberty Radio Podcast Facebook page so you can read more. Some people have told me that they don't look at my page. They've, pretty much gotten rid of the notifications of my page, of my personal page, and also, other pages that I have, including American Liberty Radio Podcast, because they don't, they think that I'm a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. How's that narrative working out for you? How's that self-talk, that self-exposure to reality and to truth and facts working out for you? How's that closed-mindedness working out for you? Not so well, huh? Go to Facebook at ALRN Podcast. At ALRN Podcast. That's where you will find all the news that I'm talking about. A lot of people look at me and say, well, hey, that's your view. That's your truth. That's your, what you see. That's not my view. That's not my view. Okay. What is your view? Well, I just don't believe that. I just don't believe any of it. That just proved my point. I've had people tell me that. I just don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. That just proved my point. You're closed-minded and you absolutely, positively do not care about truth or facts. Period. End of sentence, done. You don't care. All you care about is the Hollywood, nightlife. All you care about is, in other words, you ignore every major thing, every major story, every major thing in your life that would affect you directly or indirectly, and you're just going to stay in your little bubble and just live. That just proved my point. You don't care. So to those people that call me a conspiracy theorist, for those people who say that I don't know what I'm talking about, something real simple. I want to respond to you with something very, very simple. You see that door, metaphorically speaking, not literally but figuratively. Do you see that door you just walked in through? Do you see that? Right? Okay. I got an idea. Here, let's do this. Here, let me walk you to the door. Let me show you something. Here, step outside for a minute. Bang. I closed the door. That's where you need to be. If you're going to be so close-minded about what's going on and don't want the truth or the facts, then I'm glad I'm glad people have, cut off notifications of my pages. Because there's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say to help you understand what's going on. There's nothing, absolutely nothing at all. Because you're so close-minded, so geared to ignore everything going on around you that you're going to, that you're going to be that rat in the cage on the wheel going round and round and round. You're going to be that rat in a maze trying to find a cheese. You're going to be that one person in the middle of a group of people that know the truth and the facts who are going to sit there and go, why didn't anyone tell me this? When everything else around you begins to collapse. You're going to be that one person in the crowd that says, I don't know. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why this is going on. Why didn't anyone tell me about this? Listen up. I am telling you about this, and so is Nick Tucker, and so is Brian Lang, and so is Alex Jones, and so is John Christopher J-Man Collins, and so is a lot of other people. But you have geared your mind to ignore the truth and the facts. So speaking to those people, I will say this. There's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. Now, I said in my past podcast that I wouldn't talk about those people, that I wouldn't talk to those people, but guess what? Guess what? Every so often, you got to kick them in the ass to get them to understand what's going on around them. Every once in a while. Not all the time, but every once in a while, you just got to walk up, yell in their face, and make them understand what's going on. And by the way, if you kick them in the ass or yell in their face, they're not going to look at you. They're going to get more pissed and they're going to ignore you more. Well, guess what? Bye. There's the door. Go enjoy. Someone told me once that I'm a very direct and blunt person. Well, I thank goodness for that. I'm glad because, that's how my mama raised me. That's how my daddy raised me. My grandmother taught me tact. Yes, you can be angry. Yes, you can get up in somebody's face, but use tact. Be firm. Be assertive but firm. Well, with the way that I am, with the way that I know that I have been in the past, which really has subsided over the years, I will get up in people's faces. I will tell them exactly what's going on. I will tell them what I've known about the law from every aspect, from constitutional law to national labor relations law and everything else. And I will tell people in their face, this is what I know, this is how it is. And this is good. I can tell people about history. I can tell people about, other issues as well and other subjects. But you see, there's also a flip side to that coin, and that is, are they going to listen to me? I can tell them everything, that I want, but are they going to listen? Well, to slap a bookend on that segment, I'm going to say this. No, they're not going to listen to me or anyone like me, like Michael Savage, Alex Jones, or anybody else, because they want to completely ignore the truth and the facts and what's going on around them because they want to stay in their little delusional little safe space and be so... They just want to sit back, do their own thing, ignore the truth and the facts, and continue on with life and pretend that nothing is wrong. That's pretty much it. There's nothing I can do at that point. I don't think there's anything anybody can do at that point, except every once in a while, kick them in the ass and get up in their face. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. You tell me. Drop a comment on the Spreaker side of things. Go to Spreaker.com. Go to American Liberty Radio. Let me give you exactly where to go to on Spreaker. I will tell you what it is exactly on Spreaker. Spreaker, that's Spreaker. Spreaker.com / just look for American Liberty Radio. There you go. Just look for American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com. With 16,400 followers and 67,000 plays, I'm sure someone's going to listen. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to tell me, hey, you can even tell me to piss off. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, or go to Spreaker.com. Look for American Liberty Radio and check things out there as well. Drop a comment in the comment section. And with 16,000 followers and almost 70,000 plays of this show, I am being heard in not only the United States and Billings, Montana, and that's around 93%, but I'm heard in Canada. I'm also heard in Turkey. Thank you, citizens of Turkey. And, believe it or not, Slovenia. Thank you, citizens of Slovenia. Greece, United Kingdom. I'm heard in France. Hello, what are you doing? And India. The cities I'm being heard in is not only Billings, Montana, but Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Atlanta. Mountain View, California. Folks, that's the heart of Silicon Valley. Or at least an artery. And I just FYI side note here for California, hey folks, you got a problem, and it's in Sacramento, California. You guys got to deal with it, and deal with it now. I'm heard in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, thank you, Sin City. I know you guys hate that term, but thank you, Las Vegas. And, of course, Burnaby, Canada, where I'm heard up there, and Katy, Texas. Thank you, Katy, Texas. I got some relatives in Texas. Thank you, Texas. And Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. Thank you, Fort Gibson. Maryville, Tennessee. And, of course, I told you I was listened to in Turkey. That's Istanbul, the capital. Thank you, citizens of Turkey. And, of course, the neighbor from the north, Montreal, Canada. Montreal, Canada. Thank you, folks. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Parry Sound, Canada. And I got to tell you, man, it's a beautiful country up there. It's just some fantastic country up there. Not too crazy about your government, but you got some beautiful country up there, all right? I feel like taking a trip and going fishing up there because it's so beautiful. Spending a week up there is nice. So that's where I'm being listened to. That's where this show is being heard, and I guarantee you people know. I'm not toning this down. People know what's going on in their neck of the woods. They know the globalists are out to enslave them, and that's what their goal is, to enslave everybody on Earth. How's that Keynesian economics going, folks? Keynesian economics. Seriously. It's a failed concept. How's that working out for you? You want to see the results of Keynesian economics? Look at Venezuela. Yeah. Folks, I know I want to move on. I go on elsewhere and talk about some other things, except, I get on here and I start rambling on, right? Good information, awesome information. You let me know. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. That's the main website. Right now I'm going to start working on it for the next couple of weeks. So here's a backup site to go to. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go check out that site as well. It's just a backup site for the network. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, hey, you want to tell me to FO? AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com is the email address. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. World News Daily is reporting on the 5th of June 2017, anti-Sharia rallies planned for 28 U.S. cities on June 10th. Organizers seek to shine light on Sharia creep in the USA. Yes, that's right, folks. Sharia law is, well, not the law itself, but people who want Sharia law are creeping into neighborhoods, into, they're just organizing to get rid of the Constitution in the United States of America, and they're building this wall, and they're going to push everyone over the edge, to simply put it to you bluntly, as I like to do. ACT says ACT for America is planning a nationwide march against Sharia, march for human rights, unquote. March against Sharia, march for human rights on June 10th. That so far has 28 cities signed up to participate. Organizers say they will be taking a public stand against female genital mutilation, honor violence, and the blasphemy and apostasy laws, among other elements of Sharia that are increasingly showing up in American society. Bridget Gabrielle, the founder of ACT for America, said America is now starting to experience some of the same atrocities of Sharia that her family escaped in Lebanon decades ago. I'm putting that up on American Liberty Radio podcast for you. When we were living in Reno, Nevada, We were living in a complex, and right next door in the next building over, we met a lady who was 90-something years old at the time. And she told us, when Obama was president, she told us, specifically told both of us, myself and my significant other, Diana Nelson, the host of Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, she told us directly that what Obama was doing was exactly, to the T, exactly what Hitler did when he invaded Poland. And this woman was a teenager in Poland at the time. She told us exactly what Obama was doing was a carbon copy of what Hitler did in Poland. So you tell me what kind of political creep is coming into the United States of America. Tell me who's going to benefit from destroying the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. Who's going to benefit? I can tell you right now who will. And they met this past weekend in Chantilly, Virginia, at the Westfield Marriott. That's who's going to benefit. Oh, and you want a microcosm of what is going to happen and how it's going to be implemented? Obviously, there's variance in this, but gaze upon the golden state of California, where Dictator Brown is going to put the rest of that state into a $400 billion deficit. He's getting rid of health care for the normal everyday person, and he's going to give a bunch of benefits to illegal aliens that are there. California, hello, California. I know friends of mine listen to me in Stockton, California. I was born and raised right there at Dameron Hospital in Stockton, California. Let me tell you something, friends and family. Get your ass out of California now, because you guys are going to be inundated with bullcrap from Sacramento. I guarantee you. And you people cannot stand up for yourselves because you're a bunch of freaking cowards? Look what you guys did when Gray Davis decided, I'm going to give driver's license to illegal aliens. Guess what? You booted his ass out of office. What are you doing with Jerry Brown? Not a damn thing. You're not doing a damn thing because you're a bunch of freaking cowards. You don't have any backbone or balls to stand up to the politics and the politicians of Sacramento, California. Am I going to have to go down there and kick some freaking ass? Because I guarantee you I will, because you people are a bunch of freaking morons if you allow that piece of crap in Sacramento to continue the bull crap that he's doing. Yeah, I'm a little excited. I'm pissed. Because it's not just California. Let me calm down. After the top of the hour, when I get back, I'll talk a little more about that. I didn't think I was going to go in overdrive today, folks, but I will, and I shall return. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to collect my thoughts, and I'll be back. Folks, it's what it is, man. It's what it is. Whoops. I'll be back. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Haven't been warned. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com. And Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. Nova Center for the Performing Arts has picked its 2017 and 2018 productions. These productions will fit this year's theme of Around the World. The season will have 10 productions, including 4 main stage theater productions, Mousetrap, Quilters, Celtic Christmas, and The Complete History of America, Abridged. The season will include 4 youth shows: Madeline, Brunderbar, Gulliver's Travels, and The Schoolhouse Rock. The season will also include 2 operas, Festival of One-Act Operas, and Pirates of Penzance. So come join the fun this season at Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information, go to their website at www.novabillings.org. Create your own podcast. Spreaker has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcast or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload your files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the crimes code.
www.livetruthradio.com, the not politically correct radio broadcast. Oh yeah, come on over and join us to stand up, speak out, and get involved. The radio they don't want you to hear. Ha ha ha.
Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Pursuing the truth with a vengeance. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Check things out if you would, please. Thank you. Let me a couple of things here. First of all, let me clear up some things. I play music on here. I play music for intros. I play clips. I play all of that. Let me just say this right now. No copyright infringement intended. Period. Okay? I'm not it's just intros, it's just clips, it's just, and everybody else does it too. So I'm just saying, for me, an American Liberty Radio Network, no copyright infringement intended, period. Okay, got a question? You can always email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. That's all you got to do. Just ask me. Yeah, we're reasonable adults, aren't we? We can talk. The other thing is, real simple, that if there was ever a point in a person's life when you get to that point of realization of what exactly is going on in the world behind the curtain, within, as you heard, the Matrix, when there's that realization of quote unquote reality, my question to you is, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, is there anything that you yourself do in terms of making the changes necessary so that you can see the reality of what actually is going on? I mean, it's real. I'm just asking questions, folks. If you have any questions for me, if you have anything to say, if you want to know, whatever it is, in your litany of curiosity, please email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. More news than you can use right here on American Liberty Radio Network. Hey, go check out Mr. Nick Tucker over at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com. Him and I had a show. We're going to have a show next Friday, not this coming Friday, but next Friday. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, as well as the main theme of the podcast. So, yeah, folks. Check out DistortedReality.podbean.com. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. There's a lot. Okay. A lot that you need to hear. Let's go to Breitbart.com, shall we? Ninth Circuit Judge. Stupid ads. Ninth Circuit Judge, DHS, Department of Homeland Security officers, humiliate judges by enforcing immigration laws. What? Judges are humiliated and dehumanized whenever they must enforce the nation's immigration laws, according to a senior judge on the far-left Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Oh, my God. If you heard the first hour, at the end of that, I was a little ticked. Yeah, I'm trying to not get so pissed at the corruption and just the total stupidity of what's going on. Okay, maybe I should just, treat it as absurdities and laugh at it all. Maybe I should. Why not? Why not, right? Oh, God. Trump, bring back the travel ban, calls second executive order watered down, politically correct. Interesting. Charlie Spearing, is it Spearing? Sorry, Charlie. No pun intended. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast as well. The only thing that I know, well, not the only thing, I know a lot of stuff, so not just the only thing, okay? What I know is the cowards in America are pretty much all lefties. I know that. That's, yeah. 4 dead in Orlando workplace shooting, including gunman. AWR Hawkins reports for Breitbart.com, 5th of June, 2017. Thank you. 4 people were reportedly shot and killed around 8 a.m. in Florida business, with the attack being viewed as a scene of workplace violence rather than terrorism. I laugh because usually that's the narrative. But let's go on. The gunman is also dead, and law enforcement officials report the situation is contained. According to WFTV, the business where the shooting occurred is located in a manufacturing they need to learn how to spell check. According to WFTV, the business where the shooting occurred is located in a manufacturing where businesses include Gerber Collision and Glass and whatever Incorporated. It's in a manufacturing, it's in a basic, warehousing district, if you will. The Orange County Sheriff tweeted, shooting scene with multiple fatalities, situation contained. Now investigating tragic incident and will soon have accurate information. The FBI is on the scene with the OCSO. CNN reports that Orange County Mayor Teresa Jacobs and Sheriff Jerry Demings are also on the scene. I'm going to put that on the American Liberty Radio podcast because this happened today. So I'm going to put that on there and for all you to take a look at as well. I want to give you this. I want to point out something I just saw in the daily news feed here on Breitbart.com, where the headline in this, I don't know if it's an ad or whatever, but it's there. And I'll just give you an overview. It's about a dog who was adopted seconds before death gets a happy ending. So that's the headline. Dog adopted seconds before death gets happy ending. My view is this. In some districts and in some counties and in some states, they are now making a list and making it mandatory that animal abusers go on this list just as sex offenders, child predators, all that. So guess what? I am so glad people are starting to look at that issue. And I'm so glad that people are finally getting to, the point where they're going to have a list. I'm so glad. Just wanted to mention that, so there you go. John Hayward over at Breitbart.com, 5th of June, 2017. Thank you, John. Fred Felix, quote, we may have generations of radical Islamists in UK unless the British government wakes up, unquote. Senior Vice President for Policy and Programs Fred Fleets of the Center for Security Policies joined Sirius XM host Joel Pollack on Monday's Breitbart News Daily to talk about the London Bridge terror attack. Pollack began by asking if the London Bridge attack would finally provide the wake-up call needed for those who underestimate or downplay the dangers of radical Islamic terrorism. Quote, a lot of people who were in denial almost say the right thing after these events. They sort of can't help themselves, unquote. Quote, what really concerns me is that, yes, it's right we have to improve security. We need better outreach. We need better intelligence. But there's something they're not talking about in the UK that really needs to be focused on. The role that the failure to assimilate British Muslims has created the situation. The role that the failure to assimilate British Muslims has created the situation, unquote, he said. Quote, there are communities where British Muslims are deliberately not assimilating, are being taught to hate British society, and this is incubating radicalism. There's actually a parallel system of Sharia law courts in the UK that operate, unquote. Quote, We may have generations of radical Islamists in the UK until the British government wakes up and stops the situation, unquote, he warned. This is going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. I want to ask you a question because it just came to mind, so I'm going to ask you a question. Is the things that you hear, are the things, are the stories, are the, ideas, are the issues that you hear, that you talk about, that you see in the news, is it not as bad, or is it as worse or more, or is it worse, I should say? God, my grammar sucks today. Is it not as bad, or is it worse than what you can imagine? This is a very crucial question. Is what you're hearing in the news everywhere less than or worse than you can imagine? I mean, think about it. The only person that can answer that question is you, and you've got to do your research to go find out whether or not the question can be answered. Okay? That's just, the way it is. I don't know. And when I don't know something, folks, I tell you I don't know. I mean, that's just, it's simple. I don't know how people can ignore what is going on. I don't know how people can ignore the truly nefarious things that are happening. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You want to tell me? Because I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. Hamas leader heads to Egypt for rare talks. Hamas, another terrorist organization. This is from Breitbart, Jerusalem, Gaza City, Gaza Strip. Comes out of the AP. Hamas' newly chosen leader in the Gaza Strip on Sunday traveled to Cairo for talks with Egyptian security officials in the first high-level meeting between the sides in months, a Hamas official said. The delegation left through the Rafah border crossing, which was open Sunday for the group to cross. The border is mostly closed for the 2 million residents of Gaza, part of an Israeli and Egyptian blockade. Israel and Egypt have enforced the blockade, citing security reasons, since the Hamas terror group seized control of Gaza a decade ago. Salah Bardawil, a Hamas spokesman, said the delegation will discuss the humanitarian situation in Gaza under the blockade, Egypt's role in improving conditions, and the need to open Rafah crossing for Palestinian travelers. Hamas and Egypt have had cool relationships since Egypt's Islamic president Mohamed Morsi was overthrown by the military in 2013. Morsi came from Hamas's parent group, the Muslim Brotherhood. Does that name sound familiar, folks? Hamas has been trying to convince Egypt that it is a reliable security partner. It has deployed more troops along the border with Egypt's northern Sinai region, where the Egyptian military is battling Islamic extremists. This is going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. The Muslim Brotherhood. Interesting. Don't you think? I don't have all the answers, folks. Oh, what? Oh, my God. Yes, I don't have all the answers. I have suggestions. I have certain positions that I take. I have certain, things that I say that I can back up and all that. But I don't have all the answers. This is why I encourage you to go out and look this stuff up yourself. because it is, it is what it is, and I'm not gonna sit here and twist your arm and try to make you to believe what I believe and accept it as truth. I'm not gonna. That's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. I want you folks to go out and check this stuff out. I want you guys to make it a point to investigate on your own and find out. Isn't that simple? I'm just curious. Is that something you want to do? I don't know. Let's go to RT.com. I may even go over to MSNBC. Don't know yet. I don't know, man. I mean, I look at all this news, 5 dead in Orlando, Florida workplace shooting. I look at Trump renews calls for tough travel ban, says U.S. is extreme vetting new arrivals. And also this, do police need a warrant to access cell phone history? Supreme Court to decide. Well, hello? Can you say privacy issues? I mean, they're probably going to argue and say, well, we need to know who you're talking. No, you don't need to know nothing. It's my phone. I'm not giving it up for you people to go search around my phone. I don't care if you got a warrant. You ain't searching my phone. So let's talk about that since I ranted about that for a second. Carlo Allegri, RT.com, 5th of June, 2017. Thank you, Carlo. The U.S. Supreme Court announced it will hear arguments in a landmark case concerning whether law enforcement is required to receive a warrant to obtain a suspect's cell phone location history from wireless carriers. The case, Carpenter versus the United States, will test a defendant's freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures under the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, especially in the modern digital age. To justify the law enforcement access of the cell records in the case, government prosecutors relied on the Stored Communications Act of 1986, which they said does not require a probable cause warrant to obtain customer records. Hello. Ancient history, folks. Oh, Jesus. Let me look here. I gotta turn this off here. There we go. God, I hate when videos just automatically start. So let me put this on the American Liberty Radio podcast for you to take a gander at. The case, Carpenter versus United States, will test a defendant's freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures under the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, especially in the modern digital age. To justify this, to justify the law enforcement access of cell records in the case, government prosecutors relied on the Stored Communications Act of 1986, which they said does not require a probable cause warrant to obtain customer's record. The American Civil Liberties Union, which is representing the defendant in court, says the law is outdated and does not adequately protect Americans, many of whom carry mobile devices with the capacity to hold an immense amount of data. This is going on American Liberty Radio podcast. Be prepared, folks. Videos will start on their own on that site. And you can always go into the web browser and all that and cut off all that crap. I've done it. I didn't do it here on this browser. I use Opera for the browser, so there you go. There's so much going on. If George Soros is the answer to the EU crisis, what on earth is the question? And get this, RT is reporting this. RT is reporting this. Bilderberg 2017. Should we be worried yet? Because it happened this past weekend. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. So there you go. I know. Let me go here. Let me just go here for a minute. If we are to look at everything going on, and if we are to try to understand every, aspect of what's going on, should it not be an obligation of ours to study out these people who want to control each and every person on the planet? Should we not, is it not our responsibility to ourselves and our families to understand who these people are? Don't you think we have an obligation to them? Don't you think we have an obligation to protect our nation, our families, our regions, our counties, our cities, our neighborhood? Don't you think we have that obligation to do that? I do. I mean, why would you not? I think common sense would weigh in and say, well, yeah, you have the responsibility and the duty to protect yourself and your family. Right? So, think about what the Bilderberg Group is talking about or what they've talked about and go from there. And ask yourself, should we be worried? I myself personally think that you should be worried. And I think we need to start seriously looking at what they're telling us. I really do. I really think we need to start reading between the lines, looking at what is there. Examining everything that we see. I just think that in regards to who we are, I think it is our responsibility and duty to make it our pledge to our family, our friends, our coworkers, our neighbors, and all of that to be a part of their protection if they're unable to. It's just me. I mean, it's common sense. Okay? Now, I know. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that, but they're lefties. They are. And, I just think that we need to really seriously look at what's going on. I really do. And if we have the ability to stand up and take matters into our own hands, lawfully, legally, responsibly, then I believe we should. And with everything that's going on in the country and in the world today, I think it is our responsibility and our obligation and duty to stand up for the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the United States of America. And that has to be the number one thing on our list every single morning we get up. That's just the way it is. I'm over on drudgereport.com. And the New York Times is saying, Michael Krinbaum reported yesterday on the 4th of June 2017, after London attack, Trump again the center of partisan media combat. CNN host called President Trump a man-baby and a piece of excrement. He used a more profane term and later apologized. A guest on Fox and Friends proposed that some Muslims in the United Kingdom be placed in internment camps, prompting an on-air disavowal from the hosts. Interesting. I shall get into that in a moment. A Breitbart News writer argued on Twitter that, quote, there would be no deadly attacks in the UK if Muslims didn't live there, unquote, generating angry replies. And Mr. Trump himself, in his first public comment about the attack in London on Saturday night, disseminated unconfirmed information from an unofficial source, the Drudge Report. Isn't that incredible? In the 24 hours after the deadly van and knife attack, the cycle of partisan broadsides and ideological combat that seems to dominate the media universe these days kicked into high gear. Here, I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast for you. There's a lot more to talk about. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make this very, very clear. When you have a group of people who are on a quote-unquote news program disavowing, what's that mean? Well, let's go there first. Before I say anything else, I'm going to go find the definition for disavow. Okay? Let me just go there. I'm at dictionary.com. Disavow. I'm going to go here. To disclaim knowledge of, connection with, or responsibility for, disown, or repudiate. Repudiate. To deny knowledge of, connection with, or responsibility for. Shall I go on, folks? I'm putting that. Actually, let me read. Let's see. Hold on. Give me a second here, folks. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put that definition right below in the comment section of the article I just posted on American Liberty Radio podcast. After London attacked, Trump again at the center of partisan media combat. So I'm going to put that on there. It's in the comment section. Disavow. So what Fox and Friends is saying is, we don't care about the truth. We don't care about what you say. We're going to ignore it. We're going to repudiate it. We're going to deny it. When in fact, several years ago, it says here in the piece, a guest on Fox and Friends proposed that Muslims in the United Kingdom be placed in internment camps, prompting an on-air disavowal from the hosts. I'm speaking to that. Several years ago, Glenn Beck was on Fox and Friends when he was still on, when he, I guess, just left Fox, or he was leaving Fox at the time. And he told the people on that couch there were FEMA camps, internment camps in the U.S. And they're like, really? And he says, yes, I have information sent to me, blah, 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 all that. And he's telling these people on this comfy couch there at Fox and Friends that there are FEMA camps, internment camps. Excuse me. He then says the same thing on his radio program, saying, I'm going to, tonight on my show, which was a TV show later on in the evening, he's going to talk about it. Well, and you can find this on YouTube. He comes on there, excuse me, on YouTube well, not YouTube, on his program, the Glenn Beck program on Fox Business, gives a little monologue and he speaks directly to the camera and literally looks into the camera and says, there are no FEMA camps. He winks, he gives a stage whisper and says, they told me to say that. Or something to that effect. And then he goes about his program. Somebody got to him. Somebody got to him. And that whole issue of the manipulation of the media is just incredible. The whole issue of manipulating the media is incredible. A Breitbart news writer argued on Twitter that there would be no deadly attacks in the UK if Muslims didn't live there. That's a true statement, generating angry replies. That's a true statement. He made that statement. Okay? It's on American Liberty Radio podcast. Okay? Now, what I want to talk about here is real simple. I didn't go to the break at the bottom of the hour. That's fine. I'll go here in a few minutes. But what I want to talk about literally in this last segment is how everyone in the freaking world is being manipulated by the mainstream propaganda media. And let me just add one more word on that. The manufactured, a.k.a. fake news, mainstream propaganda media. How people are being manipulated through neuro-linguistic programming. How people are being manipulated by the likes of Fox News, CNN. Roger Ailes has passed away, and so now Fox News, being funded by the Saudis, by the way, a prince. It's confirmed. Don't tell me it's not. Don't say, wow, that's been debunked. No, it hasn't. It's confirmed. Go look it up. A Saudi prince is funding Fox News. So now you have all these media outlets, such as MSNBC, claiming, I use that word in air quotes, claiming that certain things are not the way people have perceived them to be. Well, guess what? It's a lot worse than that, folks. It's a lot worse than that. Progress, what is that? I forget what it was. It's Media Matters, and there's a lot of other ones funded by George Soros. Basically, the script that the manufactured media propaganda, the manufactured mainstream media propaganda, the script that they are given comes straight out of Washington, D.C., Media Matters, the press corps, all this. And you and I are being manipulated. Now, how do you know I'm telling you the truth? Well, I just said it. We're being manipulated. Because in the independent side of the media, in the alternative media, there's disinformation because the government has infiltrated the independent alternative media outlets. I don't know who they are specifically, but I know that from the information that I got, that some of them are have been infiltrated. I can tell you this much. Infowars.com has not been infiltrated. Drudge Report has not been infiltrated. Because I can tell you, through the understanding and the expertise I have in neuro-linguistic programming, I can tell you exactly, through the words that are on the websites, how it is structured, how it is placed, I can tell you whether or not they've been influenced in some way. I just read you part of that article from RT, it's up on American Liberty Radio podcast. And you will see, if you are able to read between the lines and see what's going on. Now, of course, some people won't be able to understand it, won't be able to really do that because of the fact that they don't have the education or the expertise to be able to understand that. They don't take the time to understand this. But they should understand that all of the manufactured mainstream propaganda media is there to manipulate each and every single one of them. Okay? I'm not going to go to break. Told you I was going to go into overdrive. I'm not going to go to the top of the hour. I just wanted to get into talking about how the media manipulates everything to suit their agenda, to prove to their bosses that they can manipulate the masses. And this is not just in 2017 on the 5th of June that this is happening. This has happened many, many years ago. Many years ago. Many years ago. So I want you all to remember that I don't care where you are in the world, I don't care what you're doing, I don't care what you're listening to. Understand that there is a portion of what you hear that is manufactured for the purpose of manipulating your mind to bring you to this juncture in your life where you have to decide which side you're on and who you will serve. Serve the interest of the people, of your neighbors and family, or serve the interest of the NWO globalists. Pretty much that's it, folks. I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to go to the top of the hour. Sorry, I apologize. I just, went into overdrive. I only do an hour show, folks. I only do an hour podcast, but I went into overdrive just to give you some additional news. So, folks, it's always fun to come to you. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to want you to ask me questions. Email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And join me tomorrow on American Liberty Radio podcast right here on American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. I'll talk to you later, folks.